Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode, and this which will be our next episode of Retro's Throwback Thursday. It will also be our last episode before Sunday's SummerSlam pay-per-view. So a quick look at the card I've got set for you tonight. We're going to start off with a fatal 4-way elimination match to become the Intercontinental #1 contender. We've got debuts here for Rowdy, Roddy Piper and Mr. Perfect, and we're also going to have Rick Rude and Jake Roberts in there as well. In match number 2, Andre the Giant will take on Sergeant Slaughter. Match number 3 we'll see Undertaker taking on another debuting star, Sycho Sid. Match number 4 will be Vader versus the British Bulldog. And our main event this evening will be Hulk Hogan versus Bret Hart. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first match. So as I said, our first match is going to be the fatal 4-way elimination match. The winner will become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship and face Owen Hart on Sunday at SummerSlam. We've got Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect and Jake the Snake Roberts. And here we go. So debut here for Mr. Perfect. First time I've seen him at all in this universe mode. Not necessarily a debut for Roddy Piper. I believe we did have him right at the beginning of the universe mode. However, he made way for space for somebody else. We brought him back now just to try and bolster up this roster. And obviously with all that's happened recently as well, it's nice to show a bit of respect. Remember, one of these guys will go on to face Owen Hart for the Intercontinental Championship on Sunday at SummerSlam. Neckbreaker on the far side there by Rick Rude. On Roddy Piper. As Mr. Perfect and Jake Roberts lock it up here on the left-hand side of your screen. Jake Roberts is a former Intercontinental Champion in this universe mode. He originally defeated Owen Hart for the belt very early on. Lost it though. And now he's getting another opportunity to try and get another go at Owen Hart as Rick Rude pins Roddy Piper. And Piper kicks out. Rude hit him with that DDT, but Piper's still in this match. Jake Roberts now locking in the camel clutch on Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Rick Rude has Roddy Piper up and hits him with that backbreaker. Mr. Perfect with a neckbreaker on Jake Roberts, that's his name, Jake Roberts. Clothesline by Rick Rude. I always get flustered in these big 4-man matches because it's difficult to keep track of all the action going on. There's the backdrop by Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts is a really good core, I think. I think all 4 of these guys are, well, obviously Rick Rude's a standard guy in the game anyway, but I think the other 3 cores in this match are pretty good, I must admit. Rude has been on really top form the last few weeks, so wouldn't surprise me if he makes his way through. Is that a 3 count? It was. Roddy Piper's been eliminated, and we are down to our final 3. Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts hits the DDT on Mr. Perfect. Surprised he's not gone for the pin here. Boot to the stomach of Mr. Perfect. Roberts hit his patented DDT on Mr. Perfect. I'm surprised they didn't go for the pin. Rude went for a powerbomb on Roberts, and Roberts reverses it into that DDT. Quick roll up by Mr. Perfect. 1, 2. I need a 2 count. Jake rolls it over. Jake rolled it over and Mr. Perfect is eliminated. We're down to our final 2. Rick Rude and Jake Roberts. Now Rick Rude willing Jake back up to his feet. What's he got in store here? There's that neck breaker. And surely Rick Rude is going on to face Owen Hart at SummerSlam. 2 and 3, and he is. Rick Rude earns his place to fight for the Intercontinental Championship in 4 days' time at SummerSlam this Sunday. As I said, he's been on terrific form the last few weeks. And he continues that form here. There was the roll-up. It was Mr. Perfect's roll-up, and Jake Roberts managed to roll it round. Reverse the pin. Eliminating Kurt Hennig. But as soon as he got back up, Rick Rude catches him with that neckbreaker. And now we know it's going to be Owen Hart versus Rick Rude at SummerSlam. Got to write that in my notes now so we don't forget. Rick Rude. There we go. So we now have more or less a full card for SummerSlam. We still have one empty spot, but I'm sure we can fill that with something. And match number 2 this evening will be Andre the Giant taking on Sergeant Slaughter. And here we go. As I was saying in the last episode, we've had a bit of a shake around on rosters. As you've seen, we've got 3 debuts here this evening. There might be a couple more for Retro roster because it is quite a small roster compared to some of the others. But one of the things I've also done is raise the stats of some of these guys. Because Andre the Giant was down at about 85. So I've now boosted him up to a 90 to make him a bit more competitive. Sergeant Slaughter again was about 84, so I boosted him up to about 88. Obviously both of these guys did fight in the main event for the championship, so it makes sense for the stats to be a bit higher up. There's no way that a man the size of Andre the Giant should just be a mid-card talent. And there's a scoop slam by Sergeant Slaughter on Andre. Yeah, just a quick reminder, if you guys do have anyone you'd like to see on any of the rosters, just let me know in the comments section. I don't get many comments at all, so I do reply to all of them at the moment. And I will try and work in as everyone's ideas as much as I possibly can. I've had a list from Jay, and that's where a lot of these guys have come from today. Jay suggested Mr. Perfect, he suggested Roddy Piper and Sycho Sid. As you see, all 3 are going to be here this evening. Unfortunately, Roddy Piper and Mr. Perfect were not successful earlier on. I'll have to see if Sycho Sid can be more successful as he faces The Undertaker in our next match. Remember, Undertaker will be at SummerSlam. He's facing his brother Kane in an Inferno match. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a pretty hectic match to say the least. There's a snapmare by Andre the Giant. And just raking his foot across the face of Sergeant Slaughter here. Throws Slaughter over the top of his head. Goes to the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. There's a chop by Andre. Sergeant catches him though. Andre whips Slaughter into that corner. Tries to follow him up with that splash, but Slaughter avoids it. Slaughter now twisting the arm. It's some elbow drops to the back of Andre the Giant. Again, the 2 guys locking up. Andre catches Slaughter in the front chancery. And there's just some knees to the chest. Andre gets around the back of Slaughter. And Slaughter, the belly-to-belly slam, showing his strength and power. Slaughter with a headlock now, and Andre with a rake. Well, no, Slaughter, sorry, the rake to the eyes. Andre showing his agility there by getting around the back of Slaughter and hitting the headbutt to the back of the neck. Pulls him into the centre of the ring. Rolls over for the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Slaughter kicks out. Big knee to the stomach by Slaughter, and there's the running DDT as well. Bear hug now by Andre the Giant on Sergeant Slaughter. Will Slaughter be able to survive this? He doesn't. He taps out, and Andre the Giant is victorious here against Sergeant Slaughter by way of submission. As soon as Andre locked in that bear hug, Slaughter knew he had nowhere to go and had to tap out. Great victory here for Andre. As I said, his stats have been boosted now, so hopefully he'll start to move up the rankings. I think for sure next pay-per-view we're not going to see Hogan versus Bret again, because we've run that over the last 4 months. So definitely looking for something a little bit different this time. And maybe Andre could be involved in that. Great victory here for Andre. Disappointing for Slaughter. He's had a stats boost as well. I'm sure he'd been hoping to climb up the rankings, but it's Andre who takes the advantage today. Match number 3 this evening will be The Undertaker taking on Sycho Sid. And here we go. The debuting Sycho Sid taking on The Undertaker. As we've said, Taker will be facing Kane in 4 days' time at SummerSlam in an Inferno match. So he'll be looking to build some momentum here this evening. A defeat over Sid would be a great one for Taker. Of course, Sid will be hoping to pick up a victory here in his debut match. As Taker just ejects Sid from the ring and he hits the ground hard on the outside. Now Taker comes out to meet him. As I've said earlier on, Sycho Sid is one of the guys that's been suggested to me to add to this roster by Jay. Like I say, I do take all of your comments into consideration. So if you do have anyone you'd like to see in the universe mode, any feuds you'd like to see, or anybody pushed towards one of the titles, please let me know, and I will work as many in as I possibly can. Obviously without contradicting the ones that are already going on. Remember, I do have 6 brands running on this universe mode at the same time, which is why it takes so bloody long to do anything. So yeah, you can check out the description below and you will find links to all of those 6 brands. We run Current Day on Monday. We've got Global Force Wrestling on a Tuesday. Ring of Honor on Wednesday. We've got This is Throwback Thursdays in the Retro roster. We have WWF Attitude on a Friday and Combat Zone Wrestling on the Saturday as well. And then obviously we have our pay-per-views on a Sunday. Taker brings Sid back to the feet by his neck. Sid reversing though, hitting that Russian leg sweep. This is quite a good core, the Sycho Sid, I must say. Works quite nicely. He's the right sort of size as well. Like I've had one new guy in Ring of Honor, which is Moose, and his body shape just doesn't look correct. I might be wrong, but that might actually be what he looks like. So, but Sid looks like he's the right size, he's the right shape. He's in the correct sort of ratio to the guys on the roster. That's one of the main problems we have. Because you might make a guy as a core who's perfectly in proportion to himself, but then when you put him in the ring against somebody who's roughly the same size in real life, he's like 10 times taller. Taker with the Irish whip into the corner. Went to follow up with a clothesline, but Sid avoids it. Taker with a sleeper hold. We do have one space left for a match on Sunday, so I am looking for some ideas. The problem is this. I probably would have recorded about the time this is uploaded, so I won't take any suggestions. I'm thinking maybe something for Roddy Piper. Get him involved in the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Of course, it is our first big pay-per-view of the year that we're running. Sid with a double axe handle hits it well. Yeah, we have 4 major pay-per-views. Obviously, we've got SummerSlam, we've got Survivor Series in November. So we do have one pay-per-view in between that. I can't remember what that is now. Might be something like Starrcade or something, I think it was. I can't remember now. Big punches there by Taker. Sid drops down to the lower corner. Taker continuing the assault, just pushing the knee into the face of Sycho Sid. Pulls him away from that corner. Goes to the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Sid kicks out. He did kick out, but Taker picks him straight back up. Tombstone power driver. Straight for the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Sycho Sid unsuccessful in his debut here in the Retro roster. That means all 3 debuting the stars this evening have not done very well here. I think it's very difficult in the universe mode when you debut because everyone's had a chance to build momentum. If you don't know about that, there is a momentum meter in the universe mode, and when you start to pick up victories, your momentum meter starts to go up. So you could be the worst wrestler on the game, but if you picked up a couple of victories, your momentum starts to go up and you become more likely to win matches. So guys like Sycho Sid who debut from nothing, they have no momentum at all. That's why it's great to have guys that have low momentum. I've tried to do that in the current day roster with Bo Dallas, but it's just backfired, and now Bo Dallas is one of the strongest guys on the roster, which is really doing my head in. Bo Dallas is the strongest wrestler known to man. But Taker victorious here. He needed that going into this Inferno match with Kane in 4 days' time at SummerSlam. And now moving into our fourth match this evening. It's going to be Big Van Vader taking on the British Bulldog. And here comes Bulldog running straight down to the ring and just going for Vader straight away. These two guys have been each other's throats the past few weeks. And Vader's been coming out on top on nearly every single occasion. So he's eager to come out here and pick up a quick advantage here against Vader. And look at that, he just holds him up in that vertical suplex in squatting as well. With a man the size of Vader, I'm surprised that Bulldog can do that. Pulls Vader into the centre of the ring. Could he pick up a quick victory here? One. No, not even a 1 count. Vader kicks straight out. But British Bulldog has Vader up on his shoulder looking for that running power slam, but Vader reverses. Backdrop now by Bulldog. And Vader is struggling to get any momentum together here. As I said, these two guys had a match last week and they beat each other around the arena, but it was Vader who came out on top quite convincingly in the end. So Bulldog looking for some retribution here. Brings Vader back up to his feet, twisting that arm. Where goes for the clothesline. Vader avoids it and hits an STO style clothesline of his own. Bulldog back to his feet, and now Vader has Bulldog up. Went for the Vader bomb, but Bulldog reverses it beautifully into that DDT. And now Bulldog signaling for Vader to get back to his feet. Hoists him up on his shoulder, looking for that power slam again. This time hits it central of the ring. Goes for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, Vader kicks out again. Such an action-packed match this one to start off with. See the crowd are on their feet. We've got 4 New Jacks in the front row. Vader now gets from the back of Bulldog. Spins Bulldog and sends him into that far corner. Went to follow up with some punches, but Bulldog comes fighting out with that headlock takedown. Bulldog rolls Vader over, going for a submission hold, but Vader's foot was on the bottom rope. I'm sure Vader's foot was on the bottom rope there. He seems to... Yeah, Bulldog breaks the hold now. Had until the referee's count of 5 to release it. Does the damage. Shoulder block there by Vader. Brings Bulldog back to his feet, but Bulldog's back up. Vader tripping Bulldog now, leaving him flat on his back, but Bulldog's back to his feet. Boot to the stomach of Vader. Vader avoids the punch. Catches Bulldog in the headlock and has him up. There's that big scoop slam, just throwing him halfway across the ring. Bulldog with a crucifix pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Vader kicks out again. Shoulder block there by Bulldog. Rolls Vader over and now just stamping on the back of the arm. Mounting Vader, and there's the punches to the side of the head. Vader the big punch to the head there on Bulldog, and there's a clothesline. Bulldog misses the elbow drop, and Vader now catching Bulldog with the elbows to the back of the neck. Slams him back first into the mat. Trip by Bulldog on Vader. Quick roll up by Bulldog. 1. Only a 1 count. Big backdrop by Vader. I'm surprised this match is still going on. Vader obviously but caught with Bulldog's suplex and a running power slam. Crucifix pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Vader kicks out again. Vader catching Bulldog with that STO. Bulldog avoiding the elbow drop, but Vader catching the STO again. Vader rolls Bulldog over. Bulldog fighting back. Bulldog now has Vader up on his shoulder. Running power slam, the second of the match, and surely that's got to be all. 1, 2, and 3. British Bulldog victorious here over Big Van Vader. Remember, we are going to have a Attitude Era European Championship tournament as an extra episode here on Saturday. British Bulldog is going to be part of that competition, so make sure you check that out. That'll be uploaded onto the Attitude playlist at the latest of this Saturday. And there was the pin from the second running power slam, and Bulldog victorious. Bulldog needed that victory. Vader's been dominating over the last few weeks, so a big win here for Bulldog. And as I just said, he will be taking part in the Attitude Era's European Championship tournament to crown the first ever European champion here in this universe mode. So be sure to check that out. That'll be on the Attitude Era playlist. Gives us a great chance to try and use the talent of David Boy Smith on more than one roster at a time. And now it's time for our main event. Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart non-title match here this evening. And here we go. It's me a prelude to what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Remember, Hulk Hogan will defend his WWF Championship against Bret Hart. And tonight, somebody gets the chance to pick up a massive boost of momentum moving into that pay-per-view. Remember, as I've said earlier in the night, no matter who wins at SummerSlam, there will be no match between these two. No rematch between these two for quite some time. We've run with Hogan versus Bret Hart now for 2 pay-per-views running. The first one we did on purpose. The first one we created the feud and went for it. The second one, Bret Hart won a Fatal 4-Way elimination match between himself, Sting, the Ultimate Warrior, and Ric Flair to get the opportunity to face Hogan again. Elbow drop by Hogan on Bret Hart. Bret had also attacked Hogan on a couple of occasions during his entrance before then. So he was really angling to get himself back in this title picture. Remember, Bret is a former WWF champion here. Hogan started the Universe mode with the belt, and Bret won it 2 weeks before the first pay-per-view on this Throwback Thursday. Unfortunately for Bret, Hogan won it back 2 weeks later at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Hogan with the elbow drop. Yeah, Bret now has a chance this Sunday to get that belt back. It could be a great day for the Hart Foundation as Owen Hart defends his Intercontinental Championship against Rick Rude. If Bret Hart can pick up the World Championship as well, the Hart Foundation will be looking at a very, very strong position. Then we also are going to have the ever-present Tag Team Champions, the Blade Runners. The only team, I think the only team left in the Universe mode to have still kept their Tag Team Championships since the very beginning. They will be defending their belts against Demolition, who did defeat them last week in a non-title match. We're also going to see the British Bulldog taking on Vader. The Macho Man Randy Savage will take on Diesel. As I mentioned earlier, the Undertaker will take on Kane in an Inferno match. We're going to have Owen Hart defend his Intercontinental Championship against Rick Rude. And of course, Hogan defending that WWF Championship against Bret Hart. Bret Hart just sitting on the inside of the leg of Hogan. Let's hope the Bulldog's not going to be in too bad of a condition. As I said, he is going to be taking part on Saturday in that European title tournament. If he gets too tired, remember he is facing Big Van Vader on Sunday. So that could definitely affect him. Bret gets on the back of Hogan and drops him with that backdrop. Now just stamping on Hogan. There's the leg drop as well on Hogan. Bret brings Hogan back up to his feet. Hogan gets on the back of Bret now. Back elbows by Bret. The two guys lock up. Bret catches Hogan in a front chancery. And now he has Hogan up and he's going to go for that power driver and he hits it. Could this be all? Bret Hart hits his patented power driver over Hogan, but no, Hogan's back to his feet. Hogan just getting straight back up out of Bret Hart's finisher maneuver. That power driver. And it's WCW all over again. And it looks like Hulk is hulking up. He's hulking up here. Bret Hart looks to be in trouble. Hogan with the Irish whip. There's the big boot. And the atomic leg drop. Could this be all? Hogan with a pin. 1, 2. And no, Bret Hart kicks out at the last possible millisecond to stay in this match. And there's the tilt-a-whirl neckbreaker. Bret brings Hogan into the centre of the ring, and now Bret's going to lock in the sharpshooter. Bret's got the sharpshooter locked in. And if he does this on Sunday, we could have a new WWF champion, but Hogan makes his way to the ropes. Bret now twisting the arm of Hogan. Hogan reversing it into that shoulder block. Elbow drop by Hogan. And now Bret straight back up to his feet. Atomic drop. Hogan maybe taking a bit too long there, just looking at Bret on the ground now, pulling him into the centre of the ring, going for the pin, but surely he's left it a bit too long, and he has, only a 1 count. Hogan throws Bret into that far corner, goes to follow with a clothesline, but Bret reverses. Knee to the stomach now by Hogan. Shoulder block as well. Then just some strikes at the side of the grounded Bret Hart. Brings him back up to his feet. Bret throws Hogan into that corner. Big chop there by Hogan, taking Bret out. Hogan rolls Bret over, and there he goes. Locking in the camel clutch submission. Not very often you see Hogan go for a submission hold. But it's effective, and Bret Hart taps out to the camel clutch. He was very close to the ropes, but just couldn't reach it. And Hulk Hogan defeats Bret Hart here by submission. Hogan defeating Bret Hart by his own speciality, submissions. He could have beaten him there after the atomic leg drop, to tell the honest truth. This is where Bret locked in the sharpshooter on Hogan. Hogan made it to the ropes, but here we are, the camel clutch, and Bret just couldn't reach the ropes. Submits out, and Hulk Hogan here, victorious. Offering a handshake to Bret Hart. Bret Hart's not going to take it. Remember, these two guys will face each other in 4 days' time at SummerSlam for the WWF Championship. And as you can see, tensions are high. Well, guys, that is the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had 3 great new debuts here this evening. We also know who our #1 contender is going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. As I said, check out the description below and you'll find links to all of my other playlists on this universe mode. Keep an eye out for the Attitude Era, where we'll be having the European Championship #1 contender tour, well, the European Championship tournament to crown the very first champion. And as I said, British Bulldog will be involved in that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching again. And I've been Shabby Gamer again. And goodbye. Yeah. Well, I fucked that ending up, didn't I?